Let's move on to the next stage, graduation. Thanks again for coming, and thanks for the very nice round of applause for those two journalists. You had the advantage, you had the opportunity to hear two of Kosovo's most professional and most experienced journalists. I see that they enjoyed it, and I think you got a lot out of it. What I'd like to do now is say a few words before introducing our speaker, who promises to be brief so we can get on to the barbecue. Hopefully we'll have some sunshine by the time we're there. But first I'd like to thank a bunch of people for making this happen. First, I'd like to thank our donors. And our principal donors are three embassies, that of the United Kingdom, that of Norway, and the embassy whose representative is sitting to my left, the United States of America. All three have been strong supporters of this program, which has just completed its 5th year. They've all supported us with donations over the past year. Without your people and the other diplomatic missions, this program would not be possible. And without their contributions, many of you would not be here. So you're representing, in effect, Kanishka, all three missions. But thank you very much to the embassy community for its strong support. In the United States, and perhaps in your countries, there's a saying that behind every successful man is a strong woman. Well, there's a variation here in Kosovo, and that is behind the very successful A.U.K summer program, there's a strong woman. I'd like her to stand up, Nema Aslani, and in absolute brutal frankness, without Melma, this wouldn't have happened this year, or last year, or the year before, and so forth and so on. So she is the linchpin. I want to see her get some of the credit. I'd also like to thank our student coordinators, Iliriana, Maria. Not finished with the thank yous. We have a couple of our instructors here. Again, without the instructors and their commitment, you wouldn't have gotten the education and the training and the information that you received this year. One thing I'd like to point out, in saying thank you to Mike and to Shukriya, who are sitting here with us, but also the others who aren't with us, many of our instructors who came from far and wide came to teach basically for the price of what I call cattle class ticket on an airline. They did this for nothing. They're committed to the program. They want to pass on their experience and their knowledge in the hope that you will pick up some best practices and do a better job than perhaps we all did back in the old days. So again, thank you very much to the instructors for their commitments and for their own donations. Two more to go. The A.U.K staff and the staff at Ma Bell, folks who got your breakfast together, your dinner together, made your coffee, the folks that cleaned the rooms and set the microphones up, that sort of thing. Again, critical. Little people, they're down in the weeds, but we couldn't have done it without them. So if you have a chance, say goodbye. When you say goodbye to folks, say thank you to them for their own contributions. And finally, the most critical element is you guys. You made it happen. And that's what I've heard that about the next generation. In any case, in my judgment, I've been here since the beginning. I taught in the first two programs and sort of administered some of the others. This is, as we say in the wine industry, this is the best vintage. Summer Program 2014 is the best bottle we've produced so far. So thank you. And this is due to your participation and your engagement. we had basically one goal in bringing you here, having you spend, in effect, 5 weeks with us. That goal was to promote understanding. And there are two facets to doing that. One is the formal one, through information, lectures, practice, exercises. You have instructors like Mike Digits here, who did that, Shukriya, Mike Hess, Jack Covey, Louis Sell, Aiden Harar. Everybody made their own contributions by trying to pass information on to you, pass on to you their own experiences. That was one way. The other way, in my judgment, and I'm not an academic, but in my judgment, the other way is frankly more important. Promoting understanding through, if you will, networking or contact building. As I said, I've been here doing this for 5 years, and I think the best result we've gotten out of this, and more importantly, the best result the students have taken away from the A.U.K summer program is the contacts they've made, the friendships that have been established, and the friendships that have been sustained. I have an example sitting right in front of me, Maria Gavrilo. She was a student in this program last year. She got enough out of it. She was interested enough in Kosovo to come back and participate again. And she stayed in touch with people. She's made friends. And that's really important. It's particularly important, I think, that over the 5 years, we've seen a lot of Albanians and a lot of Serbs or representatives of other minorities here in Kosovo build friendships. We've seen Serbs and others come to Kosovo with completely different perceptions of what was going on and leave changed with much deeper understanding. Some of that change came from the tours and the visits and the courses, but I would argue most of it came through the informal contact, the sitting together, the eating together, drinking together, dancing together, partying together. That's where perceptions and attitudes changed. And that's what I think is the most important result of this program. You guys, in my judgment, from what I've seen, pardon me, I spent too much time in the former Soviet Union, but you over-fulfilled the plan in this regard. I see a lot of friendships have developed here. I think a lot of you are going to stay in touch, and I think that's really important. Some of you, particularly from the region, will go on to positions of responsibility in whatever profession you choose over the years, and the contacts you build here with people may well help you professionally. It may help you if you're a diplomat or a journalist or a politician, an academic, to build more understanding between your people, because one of the things I hope you take away from this is it really is critical, particularly to this region, that more such ties be established and deeper understandings be fostered. So I thank you for making the effort to make friends here and having a good time in doing it. Two other things, and before I turn it over to Kanishka, I really appreciate those of you who filled out the evaluation reports, evaluation slips. Those are really very, very helpful to us as we try to make next year's program even better. So if any of you haven't and still have the questionnaires and you have the time, try and fill them out and leave them with one of us. Second point, the best way for us to advertise the program is through you. When you go back to school, when you go back home, if you've had a good experience and you think it's worth recommending to others, fellow students or friends, please do so. Every year we've had more students, and every year we've had, I think, better quality students, people with real interest. So if this has been a good experience for you this year, I would ask as a favor, talk it up when you go back home. Give them our website, give them our emails, whatever. And finally, I would just ask, as a follow-on to an earlier point, stay in touch with us. You're alumni. We care about you. We think it's a good program. We want to see you go on. Our instructors will be willing to write letters of references. We've done that many times in the past. Take advantage of that. But most importantly, stay in touch with yourselves. You've made friendships. Don't lose them. Okay, with that, let me introduce.
Come on, you got it.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Kanishka, as you can see, he's an Indian.
I'm American.
Anyway, Kanishka
Gangopadhyay.
Gangopadhyay is the acting and cultural affairs officer at the American Embassy here in Pristina. The embassy is a good friend of A.U.K. Kanishka is as well. His particular job is to support educational exchanges, and he has very nicely offered to come and make a few remarks. Before doing that, though, let me say just a quick word. He has served previously, before coming to Pristina last year, he served in Mumbai and
Islamabad.
Islamabad.
And back in D.C.
What?
And back in D.C.
And back in D.C. So he may want to take a few questions about those things if he has time.
Sure.
All right, without further ado, thank you very much.
Actually, I think Sean forgot to thank someone, probably because he didn't want to, but I want to thank Sean. Now, I don't know if you guys know much about Sean. He said that he's been here since the beginning. He's been here since the beginning of Kosovo, not since the beginning of this program. You were the liaison officer here in 1998. He had a distinguished career as a diplomat himself. I understand you were condemned by the Soviet Union for inciting Tatar separatism in the 80s. So, I mean, from my perspective, as a current diplomat, being condemned by your host government when it is a government like the Soviet Union is a badge of honor. I understand you negotiated with KLA to release a Serb policeman that was captured in the late 90s. What else did I learn from Google? So your wife is also a distinguished former diplomat, and if you want to talk a little bit about thanking people like Jill and like Mjelma, there's an Albanian expression, "Burde grua si misle thua." The Albanians are laughing. That means man and wife like fingernail and finger. So you can't separate them. So thank you guys. Thank you everyone, and thank you, Sean. Sean wrote to me yesterday with some thoughts on what I should or should not what I should not say, but things I should say. And I wrote back to him with a joke saying that's actually exactly what I had already been writing. What this says is, it actually says something pretty powerful about diplomacy, in that the talking points from when Sean was an active diplomat to now, I'm a few generations separated from him, haven't changed at all. In fact, the talking points that we use for Kosovo and for Europe are remarkably consistent. That is that through generations of US government diplomatic policy, we've always supported a Europe that is whole, free, and at peace. I don't know who wrote those words, but I hope they're getting a commission, because we repeat those basically daily in our work in the European region. It's a program like this, though, that has a direct impact on those kinds of goals. Sean talked a bit about this, about the connections that you guys make, and I really want to underscore that. So many conflicts have began in the Balkans, so many. I mean, we're at the 100th anniversary of one right now. And it's important that these programs exist and flourish in places like Kosovo, because it's through these programs that we lay the groundwork for a Europe whole, free, and at peace, that we actively basically set up the infrastructure to prevent wars like the ones that we've seen break out here in 1998, in 1991, in 1914, and for many, many, many centuries beforehand. And that's why I'm so proud to be representing our embassy in support of this program at A.U.K. It's quite remarkable that the diversity of this program, students from all over the world. I understand there's someone from Nepal here? Yeah, I think but from all over Europe, from all over the neighborhood. I hope that you have taken away from your teachers, who are practitioners, which is particularly important, a particular level of knowledge, I understand that there is value in learning about theory and about history. I say I understand that because I never did it. I don't have the time, and I have no interest in finding out if I'm an isolationist or a liberal interventionist. I'm more interested in how diplomacy is done rather than the theory behind it all. So I hope that you've enjoyed this experience learning from practitioners rather than the ivory tower intellectuals. It's really important, especially for those, to learn from those who have worked for years in their respective fields. But more important than that, I really want to stress what Sean said about learning from each other. There are people here from countries that don't get along. And you know, at the country level, I can understand where these conflicts come from. I, of course, do not support those conflicts, but there is a certain level of political discord, but that doesn't mean there needs to be personal discord. And I hope that you've made friendships that show that personal connections can overcome political barriers. The fact is that you guys will remain friends, and your friendships, as you advance in your careers, are going to have a serious impact. This, by the way, in diplomatic tradecraft, American diplomatic tradecraft, is what we call fostering mutual respect and mutual understanding. That's basically, nowadays, in the modern era, a very long way to say you're Facebook and Instagram friends, and you follow each other, and you like what each other is doing. It's a very fancy way to describe it, but it's valuable. If you are in Strasbourg, or Geneva, or in Brussels, or in New York, and you run into someone who you've known for years, it's much harder to start a conflict and much easier to resolve one. You have that mutual trust, you have that mutual understanding of where you're coming from, your personal histories, your personal prejudices, and your personal weaknesses. And I say these things, these are important when you negotiate, when we talk to each other. There is no substitute for personal connections. There's absolutely none. I know that if I need something from A.U.K, I could email someone I don't know, or I could call Melma and say, hey Melma, can you let me know what's going on? Can I talk to this person? It's because we have a personal connection now. These are the kinds of personal connections that I hope that you've built. And that's why supporting a program like this is so important. I want to say a little bit about A.U.K as well, and about what an important institution A.U.K is for Kosovo. Kosovo's advancement towards greater integration into Europe and into the world depends in no small part on developing a future cadre of leaders, and A.U.K is key, is absolutely key in making this possible. A.U.K is Kosovo's only institution that offers a US-style higher education. And this is how A.U.K is training future leaders, both through its regular programs in the year, but also through short programs like this. It's incredibly important that Kosovo trains and retains young leaders if it wants to have a European future. And so it's really important to us that we maintain this support for A.U.K, and I don't see it going away anytime in the near future. Again, I'd like to thank Sean. I'd like to thank A.U.K. I always like coming here because it gives me an excuse to not wear a tie. I can say, oh, I'm going to talk to students, and my bosses are remarkably understanding. And I want to thank all of you for coming, especially those who've come here from outside of Kosovo. I'm sure you've had some wonderful experiences. I understand that you've gone out to the clubs, you've gone out to the bars. I'm sure you've had some macchiatos. I hope you've had some of the wonderful food here. It's an amazing place to eat. I've gained a few pounds living in Kosovo myself. And I hope that you've learned a lot about this beautiful country, which is the youngest country in Kosovo, in Europe, both demographically and in terms of politics. It's quite an amazing place. It's growing, it's changing. If you come back next year, you'll see a completely different Kosovo. If you come back 10 years from now, you'll probably see a country that is dramatically different from the one that you've seen these past few weeks. I really hope you've had a great experience. And for those of you who are from non-recognizing countries, Romania, Slovakia, Greece, Bosnia, Serbia, I hope you do your small part to go back and do some quiet personal lobbying for Kosovo. At this point in your lives, I have to say it may not make that big of a difference, and I hope it doesn't take that long, but at some point in time, you may be sitting behind a desk when the memo that asks, should we recognize Kosovo, comes across your desk, and I hope that whether that's 10 years from now or 20 years from now, I hope you remember your 5 weeks in Kosovo when you're making that decision. Again, thanks very much for having me today. Thanks very much for coming, and have a great rest of the summer.
Okay. What we'll do now is we'll hand out the certificates. Myanmar will call out the names and just ask if you could come up and I'll present them to you.
Okay. You stay here when they come. They'll take a picture with you. I'll try to be in the picture, but it's okay. So, okay, I'm going to start with Greece. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. From Serbia. Well, actually, she's from Kosovo, and she's a mixture. Alexander Mihailovic. Gabriela Urias. Pawan Dakal. Dusan Savic. James Kemper. come up and Eliana Kurti. Cody Crosby. Yusa Mecha. Pictures. Okay. Christian. Aaron Churchill, don't forget. Halima Hodgic. Jay Rector. Teuta İsmaili. Christine Çeço. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. Amanda Shafto. I think I pronounced that wrong good. Argel Žabić. Art Krasnici. Ardi Latifay. Katarina Kirtisova. Slovakia. Dardan Borovci. Haley Sweet.
I get a standing ovation. Taking my time.
Okay, Thomas. It's my last name. Iviriana Halili. Valentina Dapo. Burakuc Haradinaj. Anita Goshi. Gilbert Kaitosi. Marigona Shabone. Lerim Dërmaku. Albina Osmani. Ingrid Saracini. Violeta Lume. Shkilçim Haciu. Adia Idrisa. Idea Siri.
She comes after, later.
Okay, later. Not here. Okay. Did I forget anyone?
Albina?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Not here anyway.
Is Albina here?
No.
Oh,
Maria.
Marian is here. And Marian is not here. So.
That's a surprise. Have we missed anybody? Is somebody here who didn't get a certificate?
Marian?
We have
No, he has a certificate. I'm just not calling out the names of the people who are not here. So. But I'll just do it. So, Idea Ziri, Marian Kosto. Albina Goshi, Lea Vita and Gamza Maksuti. Thank you all. Yes, we're going to take a group picture now, so if you all please come up and whichever you prefer, with and without.
We need a certificate.
Yes,
I'm gonna try. I'll go.